if I talk slow. I catch my breath. My asthma been out of control lately. Completely out of control. Finna just head into the topic, but before we do that, I want y'all to sit back, relax, and watch me talk my shit. So lately, cancel culture. Excuse me. Cancel culture has taken over. Targeted before we noticed the pattern. We're not talking about here and there. We're talking about systematically for the last 2 decades. Wealthy, powerful, influential black men have been locked up for sex crimes. We're not seeing other crimes as much as we're seeing sex crimes. It's always the most powerful they try to lock up with sex crimes. And I just want to give my take on what I believe is actually going on. What I know is going on. I think it started back with Michael Jackson. You guys got to understand something. Michael Jackson's catalog is potentially worth billions. I remember when I was younger, I was a kid, and they were saying Michael Jackson fell off. He was flopping left and right. It's not true. Every single one of his albums has been listed as a classic album. Michael Jackson never fell off. We had a bunch of copycats come out, a lot of people that were influenced by Michael Jackson come out that might have taken the front row, and his career might have taken a slight hit because of the sex crime allegations. But it started with Michael Jackson. You have to consider something. Michael Jackson was a genius when it came to this business shit. He was trained by some of the best, groomed by some of the best. When it came to this dirty business, you gotta understand when Michael Jackson first got into the industry, this is at the early stages of really big mainstream artists. This is like, he marked the dawning, his career marked the dawning of the end of the Chitlin circuit. We had other artists that kind of, kicked the door down a little bit, but Michael Jackson blew that motherfucker off the hinges. He knocked the whole house down, right? For black people to be able to become mainstream, major, huge icons, legends, these celebrities you can't get close to, they're untouchable. Michael Jackson did that. We had other people who paved the way for people like Michael Jackson, of course, but Michael Jackson broke the fucking mold, right? His catalog, think about it. Michael Jackson was trained by people who created the dirty business. He was on Motown Records as a child. Barry Gordy and all these motherfuckers, they're the ones who created the dirty industry, the fucked up parts of the industry. You know what I'm saying? For black people. Because they were selling each other out, sleeping with some of these female artists and promising them things and never putting them on. Do your history. Look back. There's a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name. On my next video, I'm going to shout them out. There's a YouTube channel that was talking about all these legendary artists who died young or didn't meet the potential. And he was talking about a lot of these record executives who were sleeping with these black women and, promising them careers, getting them hooked on drugs and all this other shit, right? And these are the people that Michael Jackson was trained by to do business. Well, that he wasn't trained by them. He observed them from a young age. Children are like sponges. They observe things even when you think they are not paying attention. Right? They're listening at all times. They might not even know that they're listening. You know what I'm saying? So, but they are. But they are. Right? So, sorry, y'all. Michael Jackson got to witness some of the greatest shiesty business dealers in the world. And he started buying up catalogs. He was spending his fortune. Yeah, he brought Neverland and did a bunch of stuff, but he was doing a lot of business moves. Right? He bought a lot of catalogs and owned a lot of catalogs that were worth billions. These elite, the people really behind the scenes making money, who stole hip hop from us, stole R&B, stole all these other genres, right? They couldn't see Michael on all that stuff, this innocent, playful, Peter Pan-esque character, owning all these characters, outsmarting them, owning out all of these catalogs and outsmarting them, and making them look like fucking idiots. So, of course, he wouldn't sell his catalog. He owned his masters over time. So they put sexual child allegations on him. He was too big. He stepped on a lot of toes. He was too big. There wasn't a white artist you could put on stage next to Michael Jackson and he'd be even on his level. Let's just keep it real. So they tried to destroy that man. He was the first. And they learned. But it's the same pattern of events. These people learned how to destroy you. See, they learned how to destroy these major figures that are black and powerful and rich, beyond wealthy, right? These billionaires, or people who are worth billions, who may not have the money because, for instance, R. Kelly, right? They watched. Look at the pattern with Michael Jackson. What'd they do? They had his name all in the tabloids, saying wacko jacko, all this crazy shit about him, talking crazy, saying all kind of negative things, pushing it to you, promoting it, trying to get you, right? The only thing where they fucked up is that the internet wasn't this major, huge thing at the time. So the thing, the negative propaganda couldn't reach the masses fast enough to sway public opinion to convict him of a crime he did not commit. Now, let's move on to R. Kelly. Now, I believe R. Kelly did at least molested those little girls. I think it caught up with him from Aaliyah. I think Aaliyah's spirit, punished him, right? But you never know. But what I am going to say is, they used the same method that they tried to use to destroy Michael Jackson to convict R. Kelly. The thing is, the first time he went to court for this shit, again, the internet wasn't this major thing. It took a while for it started in the streets through barbershops and people gossiping and motherfuckers getting their hands on bootleg versions of the tapes, on Canal Street and Fordham Road and all that shit. And other places like that, right? I was a little boy at the time. I was a kid. So when I seen it, I was a minor. The internet was a thing, but it was so slow. It took a while. The internet wasn't what it is today. So it took a while for it to hit people. And again, the black community was in denial. But they learned from the mistakes of R. Kelly when they couldn't convict him then. But they used the same methods of trying to sway public opinion to convict him. Because, and I'm gonna tell you why that's important. R. Kelly sex tape leak, he's pissing on a girl. He was even in cartoons. You know what I'm saying? Like the Boondocks, Dave Chappelle, like he was all over TV. Like memes were just beginning at the time. Like people were playing with R. Kelly, playing with R. Kelly's name. But he got away with it the first time. Then we have R. Kelly again. We have Russell Simmons. Motherfuckers forgot about him, I think. But we're talking about black celebrities now. You had the Bill Cosby. They tried to destroy him, swaying public opinion. They went around, and the thing where they fucked up with him, he's old and decrepit, and he, it's Bill Cosby we're talking about. A whole generation of black, now adults, father figure through the TV set, through the television set. Yeah, Dr. Huxtable, he raised an entire generation through the TV screen. That's where they fucked up. And he was sleeping with grown women. And you got to consider that what they didn't consider was that, yes, his career is over today. He's not what he used to be today. He wasn't then when they tried to play him and lock him up. But at the time, however, at the time, when these things were going on, when they say the alleged sexual assaults and drugging was going on, where they started calling him Pill Cosby, they always give him like a creative nickname, right? Or they create something catchy, drill it in your head that these motherfuckers are guilty, right? With Bill Cosby, right? With Bill Cosby, when these acts allegedly occurred, he was one of the biggest TV stars, biggest eligible bachelors of his time. He was that nigga. He was that nigga for black sitcom television. He was that nigga for sitcom television, family TV shows. He was that nigga. So, people were too wise at the time to say, no, Bill did it. Because think about it. All of these women wanted to fuck Bill, right? He was getting high with them. It was consensual. They was all getting high. All the actors were snorting coke. All the actors were popping pills. All the actors were doing drugs. All of them. If you found one that didn't, they were the oddball. They were the one who had a problem. You know how many actors died because of using coke or using drugs during that span of time and onward? All he's guilty of is sleeping with people under the influence. So let's move on to R. Kelly again. The same pattern of events, the same pattern the government, the states, the government, the elite tried to use to destroy this powerful, rich black man. Now, a lot of people say R. Kelly was broke. He signed a fucked up deal. Yeah, because he was illiterate. But let's keep it real. His catalog was worth billions, not millions, billions. They'll lead you to believe his catalog is worthless because they made it worthless. They'll put it out there on the computer screen on the internet that it's worthless or that it's only worth a couple of million. No, his catalog is worth billions. You got to remember, he wrote some classic hits. He wrote soundtracks to movies. Space Jam, right? Right? I Believe I Can Fly, right? He wrote the soundtrack for Ali, the movie Will Smith. Oh, not just that, but he even wrote music for other artists. That's a part of his catalog. He has writer's credits. He even wrote a song or two for Michael Jackson. Or co-wrote or something like that. So we're talking about his catalog is up there with the greats. He's a pedophile for sure. But the way that they convicted him, the tools, the mechanisms that they used to convict him was totally unfucking lawful. It should be a crime how they convicted him. And all of you black people should stand up. All of you so-called street niggas, all of you who talk shit about R. Kelly, even though I don't fuck with him because he's a pedophile, all of you who don't fuck with R. Kelly should stand up for R. Kelly simply because of the means that they used to convict him. They did not give him due process. They did not convict him using the law. They used the court of public opinion. That is a crime. That is illegal. That is not justice. A lot of you are going to hate that opinion, but it's not just opinion, it's a fact. It's a fact. Pay attention. They knew they wasn't going to get R. Kelly. What they do? They went extra hard. They created a whole Netflix series painting him as a monster. So when everybody's seen it, they're like, oh my God. Oh my God. And this is after Now, mind you, this is right after Netflix released a whole bunch of fucking series that was psychologically damaging the youth. There was one with the girl, I can't remember the name of it, but there was one with the girl who committed suicide. Hey, sir, sit down in your seat. Sit in your seat. There was one with the girl who committed suicide and made those tapes, right? She made those tapes where she was blaming everybody for their part and their role in her doing what she was doing and having everybody own up or whatever the case may be, and that was psychologically damaging people. It fucked with people's emotions. So when you release Surviving R. Kelly, there's already people that, you release a tearjerker. You fuck with people's emotions. They look at this shit and say, oh my God, what a monster. You see all these people boo-hooing, crying, fake ass crying. Where were all of these motherfuckers 10 years ago, a decade ago, 2 decades ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago? Where was they then when this shit was going on? Granted, some of them were young, but 10 years go by, you don't say shit. 15 years go by, you don't say shit. 20 years go by, you don't say shit. Some of these alleged acts did not occur, or they're painted as something else. Some of these women wanted R. Kelly's dick just as much as the girls that he was dicking down. Some of these grown-ass women wanted to fuck R. Kelly, because again, he was still a piper of R&B, and women love R&B. These non-ratchet women, these grown-ass women, even ratchet women love R&B. R. Kelly was still a sex symbol. He went through every fucking every generation of music and stood the test of time. These grown-ass women wanted some R. Kelly penis. Okay, they wanted that phallus, right? And guess what happened? Guess what happened? They didn't get it because he wanted them little girls. And they were bitter and they were angry. They were bitter. They were angry. Yes, he should be in prison. R. Kelly should definitely be in prison, because he did commit some of these crimes. But you couldn't just convict him of a sex acts. You had to add in the fact that he's abusing them. You had to add in the fact that he was, not the fact, but you had to add in the allegation that he was abusing them, locking them in closets, keeping them hostage, all this other shit. You had to paint him to be a monster before you could convict him. You had to turn black people against him. Yes, he's guilty. For sure, he should have been convicted the first fucking time. He might be one of the only guilty motherfuckers out of all the celebrities I'm gonna name. One of the only. However, how they convicted him was unjust. And they used the same mechanisms, right? Later down the line, to go ahead. They still didn't get Africa Bambaataa, right? You have a huge YouTuber named Hassan Campbell who came out. You have a weirdo who just oiled himself up talking about he's zesty all over the internet, beasting her, talking about zesty, I'm zesty, ah. And he's pouring all this shit all over, oil all over himself, looking fucking freaky as hell. Sorry, y'all, got another call again. So, you have huge internet people, personalities, saying African Bambaataa is a pedophile. You have people behind the scenes. You have lawsuits. You have all kind of shit, and they still ain't go raiding his shit. They still ain't go kick down doors. But guess what? Who they just raided? Because now we're at the meat and potatoes. Pause. No, fuck pause. We grown. Now we're at the meat and potatoes. P. Diddy Combs. Sean P. Diddy Combs. Somebody that I wanted to be signed by at one time. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that slightly deterred me, it had nothing to do with all this gay, zesty behavior that they say he's doing. I think he was just trolling the shit out of everybody because 50 was trolling him. I think, which pushed me to say, let me see, was the alleged bad business practices. And I didn't want to be put in a contract where I'm fucked up in the game, right? And I end up worse off than I was before leaving independence, right? So boom. Now, but I still fuck with Diddy. I think he's a genius. He has some of the biggest artists ever. Not time ever. Legends. who didn't even have major catalogs, but they were legends, right? In their own right. He knew how to pick a star. Did he do great business? I don't know. A lot of these motherfuckers was barely educated. They just were eager to sign and get out the hood. So they probably signed a shitty deal. A standard deal for the industry. All of their contracts are shitty. It just depends how much you're willing to sell out for. How much you're willing to be fucked. You know what I'm saying? And with some of these record label execs, I do mean literally. Others, I mean figuratively, right? I believe I was too smart for that type of shit. Anyway, you know, so boom. They raided his house, had his kids in handcuffs. Now this is after where they used the same tactics. They're using the same tactics. They're releasing a Netflix documentary. They started with one victim coming forward, like they did with R. Kelly. It's alleged victim. They're out here talking about no Diddy. They're creating this trend. Now everybody, when they say no homo, they're saying no Diddy. They're out here showing memes of Diddy. They're out here putting them all, blasting them all over the internet. And mind you, social media is at an all-time high. This 5G network, we're going into 6G, we're going into this whatever network we're going on, this AI shit. It's everywhere. He's a billionaire. He's done. And I believe he's innocent. But you know why they're going after him? Because they've been wanting Diddy. They've been wanting. He got fired from a white man's label and created a label that was bigger than the man he had fired him. Made billions. He became a billionaire from the ground up, from nothing, from being in debt. That's a problem. It's a problem. And you know why they're after him? Because they couldn't link him directly to the Tupac murder or the Biggie Smalls murder. And first of all, here's the thing. A lot of people sit here and say, oh, a lot of people will sit there and say, well, he did kill Pac. He had something to do with it. A lot of people are going to be mad when I say this. Tupac made a lot of fucking enemies. I love Tupac. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. Him and Biggie at the top. There's others that I say is in that same vein. But he made a lot of people pissed off. He pissed off a lot of people. He made a lot of fucking enemies. Diddy wasn't the only one. And really, he wasn't really an enemy of Diddy. Suge was. And realistically, people, I think Suge Knight had a higher chance of being the one responsible for Tupac's death than Sean Puffy Combs. And people are linking him simply because linking Sean Puffy Combs to the murder of Tupac simply because his security team happened to be the people that were members of his security team happened to have something to do with the murder of Biggie. Here's the thing. Tupac whooped a real thug, a real gangster, a real hitter. He whooped his ass. He jumped him. Orlando Anderson, y'all forget about him? You think that these Crips in Cali in the 90s? In the 90s, we're talking about in New York, the Bloods is coming up in the prison system. We got Crips popping up in New York. We got all kind of shit. We got Cali gangbangs on all-time high because of the music industry.
My pencil.
Crips beefing with Crips.
My pencil.
Niggas ain't taking disrespectful. These niggas are, that's nice. These niggas are emotional creatures. You think there wasn't gonna be get back? That was either A government hit and you these two dumb motherfuckers, Keefy D and Orlando Anderson, to take the hit for Tupac, or with Suge and he playing it all along. Think about it. Suge condoned his breadwinner to go whoop a real gangster's ass, like a real life gangster. He knows these niggas. Suge knew these niggas. Suge knew Keefy D. He knew he was with the shits. He knew Baby Lane, which is Orlando Anderson. He knew he was with the shits. He knew the Southside Crips were nothing to fuck with at that time. They were not playing with nobody. I'm not saying they were the biggest or most powerful Crip set, but they was with the shit. Most Crip sets were back then. I'm talking about the 90s. This is before New York Bloods made blood. Because it was New York Bloods that made blood a worldwide thing. Because New York is fashionable. New York got the swag. New York got the style. New York got lingo. New York is, you know what I'm saying? New York sets trends. Let's keep it official. No disrespect to any Bloods in Cali. I'm just keeping it real. But the Crips was running shit in Cali. They had the numbers. You think that Suge didn't know that? And then here's the funny shit. You got a member of Death Row run up to Pac, knowing Pac is a hothead and he's loyal to a fault, and he's gonna jump out the window because he wants to prove himself to these niggas who really have no real love for him. They use him as a crash test, as a dojo. Right? Oh, this revolutionary little nigga, this back to Africa little nigga. Oh, he got a lot of heart though, but he a bitch. He a revolutionary. That's what they was probably saying. Because they wasn't on his level intellectually. None of these Cali niggas were. They still aren't to this day. They still on super gangbang time. Some of them are just now growing up, like DW Flame and Brick Baby. They're growing up. They realizing this dumb shit ain't doing shit but catching RICO cases for niggas. Getting niggas dying young before their career really blow up to its fullest potential. Right? But we have a self-destructive culture now as a result of slavery. But let's think about this, right? They can't pin the murder on Diddy. They want to so bad, because Sugar's already done. Sugar's done. So they gotta get somebody else. And who's that? Who else they could get? Diddy. But think about it. I think Sugar had more to do with it than a little bit. If not, it was the government. Tupac made government enemies. If he is not alive, I'm gonna just put that out there. So now they can't get him for that. So what they do? Usually when they can't get you for another crime, they can't get you for embezzlement, they can't get you for drug trafficking, they got to get you for sex trafficking. Because sexual crimes are the only. Oh, Jay-Z's next. And it's not because I want him to be next. It's because this is the pattern. He got money, he got influence, he got power. He's next. You know what I'm saying? He's next. If they can tie you to anything, it might not be a sex crime to get him for. But they're gonna aim for his head. They're gonna aim for his neck. I'm telling you, this government shit is crazy. The industry's crazy. Think about it. They're trying to get rid of rap music altogether. They're trying to get rid of hip hop. I read an article where they're saying that labels are only interested in Afro beats, you know, with ethnic music, and hip hop is technically ethnic music, but they don't want it no more. They don't want this drill shit. They were trying to destroy hip hop, so they brought drill in, made it super violent. But who has the power to sign more artists and bring these niggas here without these execs? These billionaires, Diddy, Jay, all these dudes. They have the power when the industry says no to say yes. That's why they're next. And Diddy, it's the same pattern. They're swaying the court of public opinion to convict him. That's a crime. It should not be allowed. They should have, until I see concrete evidence, a video of him doing whatever, and I mean not edited, sorry, because we can do amazing things with special effects nowadays, so you can't even really trust that shit. But until I see concrete evidence, Diddy's innocent. Sorry, a lot of people not gonna like that opinion, but until I see concrete evidence, Sean P. Diddy Combs is innocent, and I'm standing behind him until I see proof. That's what we all should do. That's the problem with us. We let the media, we let the government sway our opinion and control it. That's why Trump is not in office. Because realistically, what white president wasn't a racist? Name one. Name one and validate those claims. Or was he using black token, or were they using black tokens to pretend they weren't racist? Think about it. Validate those. Hit the comment section and tell me which white president wasn't racist. We had one black president, and we're at what? President 54? Some shit like that? Or some shit, we got mad presidents, and only one out of all of them, besides the ones they say were black before George Washington. Fuck them. They're not important. Because clearly we ain't talk about them until we had conscious niggas and woke motherfuckers start talking about them. We had one black president who wasn't even really black like that. He was light skinned. He wasn't really black like a nigga. He wasn't a nigga. He was mixed with some shit. What white president wasn't a racist? Who didn't have a problem with black people? Let's keep it real. A lot of you say Abe Lincoln, nigga. Do your research. That nigga said if he could help this country progress without abolishing slavery, he would. That nigga was a racist too. He agreed with slavery too. He just got rid of it because the country couldn't survive off of slave labor. We're going into the industrial age full time. All that plantation shit was a done deal. This country couldn't progress with slave labor. It was over. It was over. JFK, bruh, he was linked to the mob. The mob was historically racist. He was linked to the mob. Bro, I'm sure he said nigga or nigger, right, with a hard R quite a few times. JFK was a motherfucking racist too. It just so happened that things that interested him, his interests, just so happened to align with black interests at the time, conveniently. But the motherfucker was a racist. Bill Clinton, everyone, well, because I used to be one of those people. Bill Clinton was black. Nigga, he was racist too. It just so happened that his interest to help his people, his whatever, his campaign just aligned with black people. Joe Biden used his media campaign and he got a black, excuse me, black whore, allegedly, a black token as his vice president to trick you dumbass black people into voting for him. The nigga has helped pass bills to further destroy you motherfuckers long before he became president. Once a racist, always a racist. Once a bigot, always a bigot. Once someone who's prejudiced is always prejudice. Let's keep it real. Sorry, asthma shit. Let's keep it all the way official. So, they raided Buffy's house. They just raided P. Diddy's house. Had his kids in cuffs. And tracking his flights, all this other shit to stop. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of stuff to convict Diddy. They just got to build a credible case. Why do you think they didn't arrest him already? Why do you think they seen this nigga? They knew exactly where the fuck he was. They've been tracking his flights, they've been tracking everything, and let him roam freely. Raided his house. They knew exactly where he was, and they didn't put this nigga in cuffs. You know why? Because they're letting the slander marinate. They're letting the slander marinate, nigga. They want y'all to convict him before the court can. Because once you guys hate him, nobody's gonna question what they do to this nigga when they slay him. When they slay him with all them years. Nobody's questioning R. Kelly. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck that nigga. He should have got life. But he did it though. R. Kelly did it. Diddy didn't do it. And here's another thing. If he supposedly fucked all these male artists that were grown, first of all, they were grown. They agreed to it. A lot of these niggas were zesty then. I'm gonna keep it real. If a nigga tells me I walk in his office and he says, nigga, I gotta duke you in your butt, nigga, before I sign you, I'm gonna punch him in his motherfucking mouth. If one of these label execs tell me, nigga, you gotta smoke my beef before I sign you, I'm going to punch him. I'm gonna choke the nigga to death. I'm gonna suck what? Dead in his mouth. Dead in his mouth. Boop! In his mouth. He catching every part of hands and feet. And I'll do the time with a smile. Oh, nigga, you gotta spread your cheeks, nigga, and put it in the camera. I'm fucking, like, yo, bro, I'm putting hands and feet. All these niggas had the opportunity. And let's say he did have a big-ass, buff-ass security guard in the office or some shit. Nigga, I would have caught that nigga something. I would have whooped his ass. How many parties after he broke these niggas in did they attend and did not say shit? They had every opportunity, every single opportunity to correct what was going on. You know what I'm saying? They had every opportunity to correct that shit, rectify that shit. They wasn't into the booty play, or the zesty shit, they wouldn't have allowed it. And that's real. They wanted it. They were zesty. They were zesty already. He knew they were zesty. He sensed it. So therefore, he took advantage of it. If these allegations are accurate. Now, as far as these women, Cassie was with this nigga for what? A decade, 10 years, or some shit like that. She was with this nigga for how many years? And all this time, when she escaped, immediately escaped, right? The clutches of Sean Puffy Combs. Let's say her allegations are accurate. She escaped, and let's say all these allegations are accurate. She didn't come out immediately. She put up with that shit. Nigga, she wanted to, she knew that sex crimes and scandals sell, nigga. Look at when Ray J and them came out with the sex tape. Sex sells, nigga. Whether it's a sex crime or not. Her albums were flopping, nigga. She couldn't make no music. Nobody wants to listen to Cassie's dried up, wrinkled, like old ass. Nobody want to listen to her. Nobody. Not when everybody's tuning into the ratchet shit. Not when everybody's tuning into Sukiyama. Not when everybody's tuning into Sexy Red. Not when everybody's tuning into Coi Leray. When everybody's tuning into who's a munch? Icy Spicy, right? Spicy Icy. Ice Spice. God damn. So, not when everybody's tuning into fucking Scarlets. When niggas is tuning into that, nobody wants to listen to a fucking Cassie. Everybody's onto the ratchet wave. Everybody's onto the whore wave. She did that so she could get a little bag real quick. She did a civil case, not a criminal. She knew he was gonna settle out. You know why? Because Diddy's smart. He's a record executive. He owned a record label. He's a businessman. He realized that the longer this shit lingers in the media, especially during the internet age, the worse my credibility is gonna be, and I'm gonna lose all these endorsements and sponsorship deals and all these partnerships. I'm gonna be done. He knew that, so he got it out of the media. But that was his biggest mistake, because now the government capitalized off that. Well, if he's settled out, people are gonna believe he's guilty. Let's fry this nigga now. Now we're gonna get him with a sex crime. If this nigga would have went to trial with her and blew and had to pay a bigger settlement, or if this nigga would have went to trial and beat her, they wouldn't have, none of this shit going on would be happening right now. Because they would be like, we can't get this nigga. That's all I'm saying. They want to sway public opinion. That's why it's everywhere. Stop being dumb. Open your eyes and pay attention. Peace.